Hi everyone, hope everyone is well. This evening I am playing Stamford Bridge, one of the scenarios from Norman Conquests Men of Iron from GMT Games. And it's quite a small footprint game, as you can see, sort of what I would describe as a half map game. I think it's the third scenario in the game. It is 25th of September 1066 in Yorkshire, where some of my family are from. And interestingly enough, I live quite close to the town of Stamford, which Stamford Bridge has no connection with whatsoever as far as I know. It's a completely different part of the UK. However, there was quite a famous historical battle here between the Norwegians, who are here, and the Saxons, who are opposing them. Points to note: the Norwegians I've set up in shield wall for those who can, and they do have some reinforcements, which is just on camera, just here, and we will see if the reinforcements can enter the battle or not. They may be one of the deciding factors. Not too much else to say because this is not a game that uses turns. I'll do a couple of activations and discuss and illustrate what is happening in the battle, how the battle is shaping up, and any sort of the game mechanics that are playing an important part of this game. Certainly the reinforcements will be doing so. It's not a large game. It's going to be quite playable in an evening, quite comfortably. The last time I played this, looking at my notes, the Saxons did indeed win, as they did in the history. So we'll be seeing if the Norwegians can have a victory this evening. We'll see. So no further ado, we'll make a start. Well, we've done a couple of activations. This formation here have moved up into position, and their archers were able to disorder the shield, one of the units on the shield wall. Now, the way that the shield wall mechanic works is that if a unit is disordered, they cannot form a shield wall, but if they are already in one, they don't lose it if they become disordered. And on this section of the battle here, this formation has also moved up and was able to engage in shock combat, basically melee combat, into the defending shield wall here. And again, the archer was able to cause an issue here, and by making them disordered. So the tactic is, if you can disorder a unit and then engage with in melee combat, in shock combat, can be very effective. But the dice roll was not in the Saxons' favour, so it was ineffective. The same with their leader, ineffective. I think there's one of these units. This unit here is also disordered. So the units here holding onto their shield wall. Saxons so far moving up, but haven't been able to disrupt enough their formation. Now the activation is next for this grouping here. In this game, these are called battles, which when making a video is a little confusing, but so I sort of prefer the word formation, but that's what they're called. This is a battle, as it were. And they are activating now. And how you can, on one side you have to roll to see if you can keep activating or whether it flips to the other side, but the other side can also take it with using a seizure counter, which you randomly pull from a pool at the beginning of the game. And the Saxons did that, so they used one of their seizure counters to take control, as it were, of the activations, and will now activate this formation here. And the plan for the Saxons is to move this into the centre, try and disrupt both the two flanks here with these units here. And for the Norwegians, they just need to hold on to see if these reinforcements can enter. And hopefully, it was very tempting, and you can sort of see how in this game it was very tempting for the Norwegians to break out of the shield wall and engage on this side here. But the truth is that the stats of these units aren't terribly good for defending, so it's it's a half dozen one or six of the other. Really, I felt like the best practice here is for the Norwegians is to hold the shield wall and hopefully wait for the reinforcements. The shield wall will make make life hard for the attackers. Not impossible, but hard. So we'll see if that plan comes to fruition or not in the next few activations. So now we're very much in the sort of maelstrom of combat, as I would describe it. The Saxons have been able to sort of reduce their enemies in this area of the battlefield. There are some doors that they've been able to open, which the Norwegians have been trying to close, particularly here. And as a result, there is a Saxon leader who was a casualty. That's why the green dice is there, just to remind myself to tell you all about it. And that was a result of combat. So the Norwegians are off to quite a good start already in terms of defending. Their reinforcements have not yet entered the battle, however. And they've done a good job of sort of stemming the flow here. But as we can see here, there's a door open here. And it is the next activation is indeed for the Saxons, for this leader here. So we'll see, the Saxons will see if they can make any progress on that side of the battle. But it's difficult to know for sure. But I would say, in generally speaking, it's sort of even Stevens at the minute. Probably technically a little bit in favour of the Norwegians at the minute. In terms of the flight point, Norwegians have technically incurred more casualties in terms of points to the Saxons and the other way around. However, that can change quite significantly. Norwegians still have good shield wall here, but not so much on this side. So we may see another few activations, this side starting to crumble. Or conversely, Norwegians, if they can hold that, that would be a good sign for them. They really do need these reinforcements though. The last few free activations where you would roll for that just haven't been able to get the dice rolls that they needed. So we'll see. So the narrative of the battle is definitely changing. The Norwegians have been able to hold onto this shield wall here incredibly well. And the Saxons haven't been able, in fact this formation here, or this battle as it's called in the game, haven't been able to activate to do anything. And even the king's formation here, very ineffective. Norwegians, however, have pushed the Saxons out and have just about held on to the sort of centre and the right, as it were. Plus, their reinforcements have arrived and have been able to move around the battlefield with the idea of coming round to this side here and pushing the Saxons out here, hopefully holding this shield wall here. Saxons unable to really achieve anything at the minute. So what I thought at the beginning was, oh, this looks like another victory to the Saxons. Things are going well for them. They but not so much at the minute. Definitely in terms of the flight point, the Saxons have lost a counter from the game. In terms of the flight points, basically that's sort of the I guess you could call them victory points for the sake of argument. The Norwegians are definitely leading. The Saxons have taken some casualties, etc. So at the minute, it's looking very favourable to the Norwegians. However, the Saxons still have some bite if they can get this formation in. All they need to do, really, in fact, it's their turn to activate. So they've got free activation. So I think for the Saxons will activate this grouping here. And one of the great things about this game is choosing which formation, I'll keep calling them, to activate. Because in a way, you should activate this one because it's got a lower rating. So it's harder to activate that in your as a continuation. But I think we're going to activate this one. See if they can sort of push this shield wall back. Then the Norwegians have got a few things to contend with. They've got to decide whether to keep pursuing this option here or reinforce this. But now they've sort of committed to that. It's quite interesting. So I think we're going to give that a try and see how that pans out in the battle. Now the Saxons have been able to break through this line here and have inflicted some casualties. And so have the Norwegians. So in terms of the flight point track, basically the victory points, it's even Stevens neck and neck. Norwegians were able to push some of the Saxons back here, especially this area of the map here. So there's potentially an interesting sort of shift in the battle where Saxons are now probably going to be able to push this way, and the Norwegians have been able to push round the other side. So the whole sort of battle is sort of moving around, as it were. I feel right now at the minute, because most of the shield wall has been broken, there's sort of, even though the flight points are even Stevens, I think the Saxons are a slightly advantageous situation. So we'll see after a few more activations. But it does feel like it could kind of go either way. I mean, Norwegians, for example, could basically, make short work of these enemy units here and just be able to move this formation right round and attack into the flanks here. But then the Saxons, they could do exactly the same thing. So it'll be quite interesting to see, in terms of the narrative of the battle playing out. It's proving a really engaging scenario. Some choices I've made, I'm not sure they were the right things. Certainly the Norwegians, if I could had a looked ahead and seen the Saxons break through the shield wall here, probably would have sent these Norwegian formation here more to this side of the battle. But you don't know these things. That's the point. That's why we play these games. So I will, do a few more activations, see where the battle takes us. So the game is finished, and as I thought, the Saxons just pushed the Norwegian into this line here and eliminated a couple of the units, and they also eliminated this leader here, and that was enough to cause too many flight points, basically victory points, against the Norwegians, and their limit was reached and the scenario is finished, and a victory to the Saxons. Looking back, definitely for the Norwegians' perspective, I think I made a mistake by bringing the reinforcements that came on through here. But saying that was a gamble, and if Norwegians had been able to hold on this side, maybe it would have been a Norwegian victory. So hindsight is a wonderful thing, of course. I shall make some notes in my sort of diary for this game and remind myself next time I play to be sort of mindful with those reinforcements. I feel with this scenario, victory or defeat hinges on that reinforcement entering when they enter, and they entered fairly early compared to what I thought they were going to enter. If they enter, number one, because there's no guarantee they will enter. You have to roll to see if they enter every turn, and the dice roll you need gets subsequently lower every turn. Well, every free activation afterwards. So when they turn up, and then what you do with them as the Norwegian player. It's quite an interesting sort of. You could easily play this scenario again, try a different tactic, and but I do think playing as from the Saxons' perspective, pretty good. Maybe on this side they could have attacked that side a little bit earlier than they did, but it was super decisive. They did get, in fairness, a lot of very good die rolls, and for the most part in this game, the higher dice rolls you get, the better, certainly for combat. A very engaging and fulfilling evening playing a war game. It's definitely a lot of narrative in this battle. I'm a keen fan of this game. I really enjoy it. I like these small battles. They are very, very playable in an evening, which is wonderful. Of course, I enjoy the bigger scenarios as well. So I will pack this away. And if you've played this, interested in any thoughts, interested to see how or hear how other people's games have turned out, as always. And I will, I think I will play. The next time I get this out, I'll be playing the next scenario in the scenario book. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Thanks a lot for watching, as always, and take care. Thank you.